It's March Madness time. Well, have some Red Bull, some coffee.
It's a perfect way to show how crazy these past couple of months have been.
They are the big contenders for the tournament. Haven't lost a game yet. I like Arizona.
Arizona's a good team, a tall team, a fast team.
Incredibly stacked conference, the SEC.
Baylor won the game, and that's a 18-year promise, like you said. And Scott Drew, that's an incredible story for him. And
I just feel there's going to be a big upset, and
so yeah, I think it's an easy pick.
Hi, this is Andrew Utz, the winner of the Outsiders Opinions inaugural Bracket Challenge, and you're listening to Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NCAA Opinions of the Week. This is the West region. Once again, there are going to be 5 videos posted today. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, what order you're doing it. But it seems like the Redemption team is not a fan of this region. Austin and Jake, who wants to go first?
I could start. This region is loaded. There are many teams in this region. If they were in other regions, I would strongly consider making the Final Four. This is going to be a very, very difficult region for anybody to move forward, and it's going to be chaos. And I'm excited. There's going to be very, very high quality games played in this region.
Yeah, I mean, simply put, the best teams in the tournament on average are in this bracket. I could see a lot of teams making it out just because of how talented this bracket is. There's a lot of teams that Jake and I both love, and we're going to have some harsh disagreements. And while in the other brackets, when we just disagreed, I wasn't pressing that hard. I'll definitely make sure I'm not going to let my babies die on a whimper. So we'll see.
All right, so is there going to be a disagreement on Florida and Norfolk State?
Maybe on how much they win by, but not not on the winner of the game.
Yeah, Florida pulls this.
Okay, now we have UConn versus Oklahoma.
I think UConn wins. A lot of tournament experience, and while Jeremiah Fears is truly, really, 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 really good, I struggle to see Oklahoma making a tournament run. Their path's just too hard. And I think UConn, well, they have been underwhelming this season. I do think they get through Oklahoma.
I agree. UConn has been underwhelming this season. That's going to happen when you lose your entire freaking squad. Like, you lost half of your team the year after you win your first national title. You lose the second half of that team except one player or maybe 2 players who are key to those runs in the second year. You have to rebuild a team. And so to come back and try and three-peat after losing everybody is so difficult. So I don't blame UConn for struggling a little bit this year. But Dan Hurley is Dan Hurley. And this team, this program, is elite. Oklahoma is not. Oklahoma has been a fine program. But other than that 13-0 start, they have been dog water the rest of the season. They've had a couple good wins here and there. And like you said, Jeremiah Fears is good. But UConn is too experienced. Dan Hurley is too experienced. I think the Huskies pull it out.
Okay. And beats another SEC team, so that pushes my narrative. Now we have Memphis versus Colorado State.
I'll let you start, Jake.
Okay, I can start. Memphis has the 3-headed monster of the tournament. Memphis, well, first off, Penny Hardaway is a really good coach. And Memphis has a 3-headed scoring monster in PJ Haggerty, Tyrese Hunter, and Colby Rogers. These 3 is maybe the best backcourt in the nation in terms of scoring. However, this team is so unbelievably shallow. Memphis has a lot of issues when it comes to depth. Now they've been able to win, and they've been able to score, and they shoot well from the field and from three, and they also rebound at a pretty good rate because Dane Danger. I don't know if you remember Dane Danger going crazy for Illinois last year, but they had a really good transfer class. Their biggest issue right now is that they have to play the Mountain West champion, a team that has been unbelievably hot at the perfect time that you need to be hot. And you also got to play one of the best guards in the. If we're counting Mountain West a mid major, I don't think we are. But Nick Clifford is an impressive player, and he's a tall guard too. And so Colorado State is just the hot hand right now. I think we got a 12-5 upset here with Colorado State.
I agree. Also, because Tyrese Hunter's not playing in this game. I don't know if you know that, Jake, but at least
they officially got it. They ruled him out.
That's what it says on CBS. It has him out. A lot of them say game time decision. His says out. I don't know. I don't know if he's actually going to miss this game or not. I mean, I'm sure. Let me see if I can find anything out. But as a lot of them say game time decisions, but this one does not say game time decision. This one just says out.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find anything.
Either way, Tyrese Hunter being injured in any way with a foot injury is going to be a problem. And if he comes back and he's a game time decision, he's still not going to be at 100%. And so solely because of depth and solely because of the fact that they might not have Tyrese Hunter. And I love Tyrese Hunter. He's been so fun to watch for the past many, many years he's been in college basketball. And losing him is going to be a huge loss for Memphis. And so to beat a very very, very, very hot Colorado State team would be they're trying to climb mountains.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is how good Colorado State is rebounding wise. I mean, Nate Clifford averages, if you round, 10 rebounds a game. He averages 9.7 rebounds a game as their best guard. They also shoot 48% from the field, 37% from three, and 78% from the line, while Memphis shoots 70.5% from the line. While they do shoot well from the field and three, and they're basically the same in those regards. It's the free throw percentage that's a large difference, 7% difference. And Colorado State continues to win games and continues to win them by a lot. Memphis in their last 10 games, or let's just go to the last 3 games. I mean, 2 of those games were decided by 1 point and 3 points. If you go to their last 5, they also only beat UTSA by 5 points. While Colorado State in their last 10 games, the closest game they've had is 8 points. In the last 10 games. They have not had a really, really nail-biter. Their last 2 games of the tournament, they each won by 10 plus. They beat Boise State twice, once at Boise State by 10 plus, and then in the tournament final by 13. They beat Utah State twice, and they blew Utah State out in their last game of the regular season against Utah State. 93-66. I mean, blew them out. Wasn't even close. And I think Colorado State wins this game. They're an extremely hot team, but they're also just a really good team.
So we have Colorado State advancing, upsetting Memphis.
Yes.
Okay. Now we got Maryland versus Grand Canyon, and different Grand Canyon team than the women's basketball Grand Canyon team. I'm not sure how familiar y'all are with that, but who wins in this men's matchup between Maryland and Grand Canyon?
GCU is a great defensive team, but they shoot 31.5% from three. And I don't think they can stop Maryland from shooting the ball, who shoots 37%. I think Maryland wins this game. They have had some tough losses, but I think Maryland pulls it out.
Go Terps! Maryland has my favorite starting 5 in the entire country. I love the Terrapins. I think this is an easy win for them. God, if they don't win this by a lot, I'll be so sad. If they even lose this game, I will quit. But I love Maryland. I really want them to win this. I love their starting 5. They have a lot of senior experience outside of Derek Queen. I think Maryland pulls this one out.
All right, so we have Maryland advancing. Now we have Missouri versus Drake, and just because there was an association with Jake between Missouri. In just on my Twitter timeline today, a lot of Drake jokes. Not a fan. Kicking the dead horse. But yeah, so I will not be making that joke, even though it's an amazing song. But I'm not referencing that because it's too much. But now we got Missouri versus Drake. Who wants to go first?
I can start since I have watched maybe every single home, at least every home Missouri game from the control room of the broadcast room, um, analyzing everything about this team. This team is the epitome of hustle. Um, they're not a great defensive team. They're not at all. Um, but they will hustle, and they do have one of the best defensive guards in the country, and Anthony Robinson. Um, Mizzou, like last year and the year prior, struggled to rebound. Um, and the thing about these two teams is that they are essentially the same team. If you look at it, they both shoot similarly from three. They both turn the ball over at a similar clip. They both play similar defenses. They both shoot at similar clips. Um, they're a very similar team. The only difference between the team is Drake has a single scorer that you need that can get you a bucket when you need it. Missouri has an array of guys who could get you a bucket if you need it. And so Missouri has the depth, Drake has the starters. And after observing this team and the way that they handle adversity and the way that they hustle, and after not being amazingly impressed by Drake in the recent tournament, I think I will pick Mizzou to win this, solely based on the fact that they will have Mark Mitchell back. They sat him out for precautionary reasons against Florida, and they still kept it close for a while there. Caleb Grill is a monster from three, um, and so I like Missouri to win this game.
I'm going to go with Drake just to give Kevin the opportunity to go either way. They are the same team, and that will lead to there being a lot of people picking both sides to win. I could see either side winning. I'm not going to have some big stat here to sway any of you one way or the other. They're basically the same team. There is some depth differences and there is some scoring differences, but nothing too major. So I'll let Kevin decide. Does Mizzou win this game or not?
Yeah, so I think Mizzou. I think they've been struggling lately, especially in the just kind of the last few games, and then you have Mark Mitchell being injured.
They are
I'm
2-5 in their last 7.
Yeah, I'm gonna choose Drake. I just don't have confidence in this Missouri team right now.
Okay.
So now we go to Texas Tech versus UNC Wilmington.
Jake said before that if Maryland loses, he's going to lose his mind. I think you guys will have to check on my mental health if Texas Tech loses this game. I may be having a schizophrenic episode at that point. Texas Tech by a lot of points. And JT Toppin may drop 30.
I'll go a little bit more in depth. I love Texas Tech just as much as Austin does. This team was not only good last year, they brought in one of the best transfers in JT Toppin. This team is a special team. They are very good defensively. They are very good offensively. They have guys who can shoot threes. They have guys who can rebound. They have guys who can play perimeter defense. The only question is that they're healthy. Just like last year when they lost to NC State in the first round. And I was originally worried about picking Texas Tech because NC State was hot. But when I heard Darian Williams was going to start, I decided, you know what, Texas Tech could beat NC State. But we didn't anticipate was Warren Washington not starting, or it was Washington that started and Williams that didn't play.
Yeah.
Okay, that's even worse. Not having Darian Williams in your first round matchup is the key to losing. Texas Tech is a special squad. They're a very, very good squad, very, very well rounded. I think Texas Tech is a special team to look out for in this tournament.
All right, so we have Texas Tech advancing. Now we go Kansas versus Arkansas. And who do we think wins?
I'll go first. I think Arkansas wins this game. They've been extremely good recently, and they're supposed to get guys back. I think Adu and Boogie Fland will both return, while Kansas is dealing with a lot of injuries, and that is something that to watch out for. But also, I think a bigger thing is just that Kansas has not looked like they did at the beginning of the season towards the end. I mean, they lost games to Utah. Uh, yeah, Arkansas's lost a couple games. They did lose to South Carolina towards the end of the run, but they've won, I think, 10 of their last 13 games or 10 of their last 14 games, something like that. And getting guys back. I mean, they've won big games without some of their better players like Adu. And guys have started to step up. And it's really the bigger thing is that Kansas is not playing like Kansas should play at this point of the season. I'm going to go Arkansas winning, but I can see it going either way, but Kansas really has struggled recently.
Yeah. This is a tough one because I also hate Arkansas this year. It's a completely new, reconstructed team, and it's tough for those teams to succeed long term. They were able to find some success later on in the season, but Kansas, they were able to hang on against Texas Tech. They were able to. They lost, but they kept it close. Against Houston, once again, kept it very close, and then it ended up beating Arizona. Um, and so they lost to Arizona in the conference tournament. But I don't think Bill Self is going to lose in the first round. I don't like Kansas. I've never liked picking Kansas, and usually I'm proven right. Other than that 2022 national championship, when they won the championship. I never like picking Kansas to go very far, but I don't have confidence in the consistency of Arkansas. I don't like that Boogie Fland is a very inefficient shooter. Adu has not been the kind of big that Arkansas has expected him to. He's picked it up recently, but he just hasn't been the same. I like Adu Tiero, but there's just this Arkansas team just seems so discombobulated sometimes, and I
But
can't.
I would say it's also true with Kansas. This is a matchup of two teams that are really struggled to find their identity this season.
But I will say Kansas simply has more experience. Um, with KJ Adams, with Dejuan Harris, with Hunter Dickinson.
Sure, but John L. Davis has played in the Final Four. You have sure, but Jonas Adu has gone on multiple runs with Tennessee. It's not like Arkansas is devoid of that. And the coaching matchup, I mean, both coaches have won national titles. It's not like a crazy discrepancy in that regard. I truly believe it's on any day I could see one of these two teams winning. It truly is a who comes to play that day. Boogie has not played in a while, and he did struggle when he was playing. I think Arkansas was a better team with them off the floor because DJ Wagner stepped up, and John L. Davis has been significantly better the second half of the season. Jonas Adu and Trayvon Brazile have been amazing these past couple games, except for the missed free throws by Trayvon to basically lose us the game against Ole Miss. But Kansas has struggled to beat teams they should beat, and I mean, I could see it going either way. Jake, I know you take Kansas. Kevin, I'll let you go either way. I mean, I'm not gonna be disheartened either way. It really is a matchup dependent. I can see either team winning. It's going to depend on what day it is.
Yeah, no, this is a tough matchup because I think both these teams we've talked about before have just used a lot of the transfer portal this year and hasn't really worked out. Kansas, of course, dealing with a lot. Arkansas had a little bit of a run late in the season, and while this goes against my SEC agenda, I'm not a huge fan of Kansas, so I'm gonna choose Arkansas over Kansas. But it is a tough matchup, so I have Arkansas advancing, and maybe John Calipari gets some magic to get a first round upset with his new SEC team. But now we can move on to St. John's versus Omaha, and I think we're pretty much in agreement about St. John's, right?
Say yes.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And then I would just say St. John's over Arkansas, just kind of for the reasons we talked about in Kansas versus Arkansas.
Yeah, St. John's wins that game.
Yeah, St. John's is it's Rick Pitino. It's kind of like, I don't know if you've seen that meme of like um, the Scooby Doo actors explaining why Scooby Doo is so important, and it's Sarah Michelle Gellar's like, oh, and it's not just a boys show and the girls show,
Yeah,
and
this is.
Then Freddie Prinze Jr. goes, it's a talking dog. That's me. That's me going, it's Rick Pitino.
You don't have to look too. You don't have to look too deep into it.
No, you don't. You as right as Sarah Michelle Gellar was, Freddie Prinze Jr. was also hit the nail on the head. Like it's a talking dog. It's Rick Pitino. Like this team is a Rick Pitino team. This team is a phenomenal defensive team. Oddly enough, they're not a great 3-point shooting team. Usually Pitino teams are pretty good at that. But that doesn't take away from the fact this team just knows how to win. And they know how to play hard. And they are coached so well. Because Rick Pitino is a phenomenal, maybe the greatest coach of all time.
There's definitely an argument for it.
So St. John's wins.
All right, now we go to Drake versus Texas Tech. Who faces St. John's?
Texas Tech. I don't see how Drake or even in Mizzou in the potential that they get through beats Texas Tech. Texas Tech is the better offensive and defensive. I mean, there's Drake does better. Also, if Texas Tech is 100%, they play an 8-man rotation, so they're going to have more. I mean, JT Toppin, I think only plays like 26 minutes, 28 minutes a night, 26 and a half minutes a night. So yeah, I think Tech easily wins this game.
I agree. Like I said earlier, Tech is very good at every aspect of the ball. So Texas Tech wins this game.
Okay, now we have Maryland versus Colorado State.
I'm gonna look. I know who Jake's gonna choose, and I'm gonna go Colorado State. But I could see, I definitely could see Maryland going on a long run. But Colorado State is extremely hot, and 12 seeds sometimes make it far. I mean, we've seen 12 seed runs, and this definitely could be a team that does it. Again, 10-0 their last 10, and they've been destroying teams recently. These teams are very comparable in basically every stat. 47.9% for Colorado State from the field versus 47.2% for Maryland. 36.6% from three for Colorado State, 37.2% for Maryland. 77.5% from the line, while 75.5% for Maryland. So it's very close. Both teams are solid rebounding teams, and they're very close in a lot of statistics. I'm going to go with Colorado State to kind of play devil's advocate. I think Jake is going to take Maryland, but that means that Kevin's the tiebreaker.
Go Terps! Go Terps! Best starting five in the country. Well, maybe the best. I don't know. But I just love them. They're so fun to watch. Julian Reese, heck of a guard. Heck of a forward. Derek Queen, heck of a forward. Rodney Rice, Selton Miguel, Jacoby Gillespie. Crazy good guards. They're a good defensive team. They're a good offensive team. Maryland is so fun to watch. I love Maryland. Go Maryland. They should have been in the Big Ten tournament, but what a great play, inbound play. Whatever. We'll get to that later. But I think Maryland wins.
All right. So I've been signing a lot with Austin. So I'm feeling Jake's really excited about Maryland. I'm gonna go Maryland over Colorado State.
That's fine. That's fine.
Now we have Florida versus UConn.
I will say, Kevin, you don't need to try to be even between us. You can have a pick. Yeah,
but
you got to take what we have, what we give you, and be like, okay,
yeah.
I like this better.
Yeah. All right. I'm still gonna choose Maryland, and I'm still siding with Austin a lot. So there's no even. But yeah, so Maryland advances now. Who do they play? Florida or UConn?
Florida.
Come on, I was gonna make that Scooby Doo joke earlier with Dan Hurley in the first round, because it's Dan Hurley, he's gonna win, but he's not going to. Florida is too good right now. You know what? There is a world in which UConn turns it on and Florida has a really bad game and UConn wins, because Dan Hurley is a great coach. He knows how to coach players. He's got a great squad. But I think the Gators are maybe the best team in the country right now. Um, they could rebound, they could play perimeter defense, they could shoot. They have phenomenal guard play. Um, Florida is maybe they just won the gauntlet that is the SEC. So I think Florida wins.
All right. Now, Florida versus Maryland.
Florida. I'm going Florida.
Gators are
I,
gonna win.
Oh, Gators. Okay.
I really think that Florida is one of the best teams in the country. I've had my doubts about Florida earlier in the year, and then they just proved me wrong. I mean, teams can do that. You can have, man, are they really this good this year? I've seen it in the past. No, they are. They are as good as you think they are, and that will make it to where it's very difficult for teams to beat them in March.
I knew Florida was good. I would have claimed that. Um, and yeah, they're gonna win this game. Like I said, like I just mentioned, they just dominated the gauntlet that is the SEC. Like they walloped. They were close. They were neck and neck with Missouri for a bit, but they ended up winning by a lot. They um they walloped who they play Alabama. They demolished Alabama in the second round or in the semifinals, and then readily handled Tennessee in the second half of this game today. So I think Florida moves on to the Elite Eight.
All right. Now, who do they face? Texas Tech or St. John's?
I'm going Texas Tech. I have to go Texas Tech. If I were to pick against Texas Tech here, that'd go against everything that I promised myself I wouldn't do. Tech is the better team from the field, better team from three, better team from free throw. Tech is an amazing defensive team, and wow, yes, St. John's is the better defensive team. Tech's the better offensive team. They play in a tougher conference. They have beat Houston on the road without JT Thompson because he fouled out within 5 minutes of the game. Fully healthy, Texas Tech has an argument to be one of the best teams in the country, and I think they beat Texas Tech or they beat St. John's in this game. I think Tech wins.
This is why I was really mad about this region. This exact reason. Because not only do you have the team that I love the most in the SEC, not only do you have my favorite Big Ten team, not only do you have my favorite Big 12 team, but you also have my favorite Big East team. And so I was really disappointed to see that I couldn't put all of them in the Final Four. I knew that was going to happen, but not to this extent. Maryland not making the Final Four was probably the most likely scenario I chose because, like I said, they do have a great five. They don't have a great bench. St. John's is this year's Iowa State. And I'm not going to make the same mistake because St. John's is a phenomenal defensive team. Iowa State was a phenomenal defensive team. They both have lackluster offenses, and I'm not going to ignore that. Texas Tech is also and getting by, like St. John's has been able to get by for a while without having the greatest offense because of hustle. They get extra opportunities. They force turnovers. They have guys who make key shots in big moments. But there were some moments where I was concerned why they were in those big moments in the first place. And that's because they couldn't get the job done on the offensive side of the ball. Texas Tech, like I've said earlier in this episode, may be the best and most well-rounded team in the country. And even when they lose, they play well in those losses. They always find a way to play very well in these losses.
It doesn't matter if everyone's injured. It doesn't matter foul outs. It doesn't matter. They're going to play extremely gritty and hard.
And it took Caleb Love going 70% from the field in the conference semifinals for Texas Tech to lose, and they were without Darian Williams, and so I have to go with Texas Tech.
Okay. All right.
As much as it pains me to lose Rick Pitino in the Sweet 16, the Red Raiders pull this out.
Now, do the Red Raiders pull it out against Florida?
Yes, I think they
Here-
do. I think they do. This is look. I know I know what
Let's
Jake's gonna
go,
think here.
Austin.
I know what Jake's gonna think here.
If we
I-
beat Florida, that's 3-1 seeds, and that ain't happening.
I just cannot possibly pick Florida to win this game. I can't do it in my heart. I can't.
There we go.
Look, my mind may reconsider it, but in my heart, I can't.
There we go.
Oh my god! This is why I hate this region so friggin' much. Because I have to take Texas Tech. I have to.
I can't overthink it. And look, it's amazing. But if I'm not, if mark my words, if all 8 players that Tech plays are 100%, I don't see them losing this game. I can't see it. They beat. Look, they were down 15-point per game scores, and were down 3 points to Houston with 40 seconds left. 40 seconds left against Houston without their second and third best players, without Chance McMillan and Darian Williams. And they were down 3. You put those guys.
And then they beat Houston on the road, having their coach and their best scorer thrown out of the game with the first minute.
Yeah,
Minute.
yeah. They play with more heart than anyone in the country. There's teams that can play with the same amount of heart, but you can't play with more heart than Texas Tech plays with.
Let me break it down. All right. You have JT Toppin, one of the best forwards in the game, averaging 18 and 9.
In 26 minutes. In 26 minutes.
You have Darian Williams averaging 14 and 5 rebounds with 3.5 assists with 1 steal a game, but he's maybe the best perimeter defender in the country. You have Chance McMillan shooting 43% from 3. You have Christian Anderson shooting 40% from 3. You have Elijah Hawkins, who averages 6 assists and 9 points per game, who is also a ball hockey god on defense. You have Kevin Overton, who just went crazy against Arizona, because we know he could score. You have Kerwin Walton, who can hit threes like there's no freaking tomorrow. And you have Federico, who with the coolest name in the country. There's no way this team. There's no way. I think Texas Tech wins.
We can't have all 1 seeds, Kevin. We can't.
Yep, yeah, no, I'm in agreement. I was gonna pick Texas Tech, but we're all in agreement about Texas Tech. So that concludes the South region, or no?
That's
it's
the West.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Auburn was the South region. So make sure you listen to that. We are, of course, posting different ones. If you want to see who wins versus Auburn and Texas Tech, that will be in a separate video. So make sure you're competing against this bracket. Password is WriteYourStory, capital W, capital Y, capital S. That's all we got. Make sure, see you in another video, as we are publishing a lot today. Thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.